The 33rd Olympiad is here.
I reckon it's one of the great symbols that we have on the planet, as doing your best but also doing it together.
That sense of theatre is all part and parcel of the Olympic Games every 4 years.
3 days in, and already Paris's Games has been full of captivating drama, heartache and ecstasy.
When we achieve a top 10 result, let alone a top 3 result, being on the podium, that is a big deal on a global basis.
Australia has already claimed 4 gold medals and sits second on the overall tally, but there's still 14 days of Olympic competition to go and more opportunities for Aussie gold. Australia's swim team has a storied history at the Olympics. The team is led by superstar Ariarne Titmus, who claimed her 3rd gold medal over the weekend, defeating arch-rival American swimming legend Katie Ledecky in the 400 metres freestyle. She'll be back in the pool tonight, looking for her 2nd gold of the Games in the 200 metres freestyle. Her biggest threat, 20-year-old Molly O'Callaghan. Titmus and O'Callaghan are both coached by the eccentric South African-born Queenslander Dean Boxer.
Don't feel you got to hook straight away. In, press, over.
Brilliant operator. People see him in terms of, his energy on pool deck and whatever. The man is highly intelligent, very brilliant, from the heart as well as from the head.
Slowing as she gets to the wall, stretch it.
Kaylee McKeown has a chance of winning 2 gold medals in the 200 metres and 100 metres backstroke. Emma McKeown, who won her record-breaking 6th gold medal over the weekend, could add to that in the medley relays. And on the men's side, Kyle Chalmers could elevate Australia's gold medal tally in the 100 metres freestyle, while Zach Stubblety-Cook will be defending his gold medal in the 200 metres breaststroke.
You've got to handle waiting and the times between your events, and how you handle it between your head is really key. But it's that rise of emotion, as you can imagine. It doesn't take too much to get excited over there, but it's a lot going on.
Drew Ginn, who won gold medals with the awesome foursome in 1996, is excited about Australia's rowing team. The green and gold on the regatta are a strong chance in the men's and women's 8, while Jess Morrison and Annabelle McIntyre are aiming to take out the women's pair.
I think we've got probably 4 to 5 crews that could get medals, and there's probably 1 or 2, maybe even 3 crews in that if they execute on what they've been doing in training, there's no reason why they can't really push and have a crack at coming home with a gold medal.
Australia is also primed for its best results in the track and field events for a generation. The ever-smiling Jessica Hull is a strong chance of a medal in the 1500 metres. Eleanor Patterson and Nicola Oleslager could snatch a medal in the high jump. Kelsey Lee Barber is a gold medal chance in the javelin. And Nina Kennedy could land on the podium in the pole vault.
Kennedy nails it.
5-time Olympian Andrew Gaze says the athletics team nervously awaiting their events next week will be lifted by Australia's early success.
To be in the village when someone from Australia had won a medal, and the way in which the entire team got around the successes of the other athletes was one of the more special parts of being an Olympian.
Team sports could also lift Australia's gold medal tally. The men's hockey team, the Kookaburras, are favourites to finish on the podium again. Defender Matt Dawson had his injured finger cut off so he could make the Games. The women's team, the Hockeyroos, are also a good chance of a medal. At 43, basketball legend Lauren Jackson will be competing for the Opals. And after a bronze medal in Tokyo, pundits believe the Boomers will struggle to repeat their 2021 heroics. But Andrew Gaze hasn't written them off, believing they can win a medal.
I've done a bit of a deep dive as I prepare for my commentary role in the teams that we're playing against, and I feel very confident.
Australia's record gold medal tally is 17. Breaking that is still well and truly possible.
From my perspective, it represents the spirit of this country, the spirit of sport, the spirit of this country.
Bruce McAvaney is calling the games for the ABC, and I'm delighted to say that he's joined us in the studio. Bruce, welcome.
Thanks, Sarah.
I read that you fell in love with the Olympic Games in the 1970s. When Paris came around this time, is your love still fresh?
It is, and I didn't think I'd have an opportunity to call, so this has been a gift from the ABC, but it is fresh because new athletes, new events, so nothing much has changed. I'm as enthusiastic today as I was at my first Olympics in 1984.
Now, we've obviously got a big match-up coming in the pool tonight. What is it about these particular contests in the Olympic that captures our imaginations?
Well, we get to know our people and our stars, and tonight it's really Ariarne Titmus up against Molly O'Callaghan, 2 Australians in a 200-metre freestyle. And for Titmus, if she were to win, there's an argument she might be our greatest ever Olympian. So all that to play out. And then that rivalry with the United States, there's nothing better than the beating the Yanks at the Olympic Games. So all of these things. And historically, this has been going on really since 1956 in the pool. So there's a lot to look back at, there's a lot to think about at the moment, and a lot to look forward to in the future when we come to these rivalries.
You're right, the continuity is interesting, isn't it? I noticed that Ariarne Titmus said that it was difficult to achieve her very best, even though obviously she'd already won gold when she said this. She said it was the conditions in the Olympic Village. Does she mean anything out of the ordinary, the cardboard beds or the food, or does she just mean that all of the activity going on makes it difficult to focus as you would focus in a World Championships?
I think, Sarah, she's talking about the conditions in the village for the athletes. I think she's talking about the sleeping arrangements, the food, the transportation.
Ones. Yeah.
And if Ariarne's complaining about anything, then I'm going to take notice, because she's not that type of person. It hasn't stopped her winning that gold medal in the 400 freestyle, and I don't think it's going to stop her for the next 7 days.
And who are you picking in the 200 tonight?
That's a very difficult question.
You're not going to do that?
I will. I think Titmus will win and do something that's quite rare, to win 2 individual events at consecutive Olympic Games. It's very special.
Now, what is the thing about Olympic love? Because I find it happens to me that I want to watch everything. So there's a whole load of sports. I don't skateboard. I'm not an equestrian rider, except in my dreams. But I find myself becoming completely fascinated in these sports. What is it about the Olympics that enables you to turn on to new sports?
God, it's a good question, because most of these sports are not prime time, but they are every 4 years. I think a lot of it's got to do with the fact that we've been to every Olympic Games, one of 5 countries. We've had so much success. We revere our Olympic athletes. And if you think about the great sportsmen and women of this country, many of them, most of them, I think, come from the Olympic arena. I think it's just part of our DNA.
Do you have any of the lesser sports that you're in love with, or are you equal with your affections? Does it go to all the sports?
I'm interested in all of them, but athletics is clearly my number one. It's the big sport in the big stadium. And when I think of Olympic Games, and I think back to the great men and women that have competed, I think firstly of track and field and athletics.
All right, so this year, obviously, in Elias' story, he said that we've got some reasonable expectations. Tell us what to look out for.
This is the best track and field team we've sent away ever, the most depth. Our outright gold medal favourite is Nina Kennedy in the pole vault. She, I think, will win. We've got 3 other really good, strong gold medal chances. Mackenzie Little in the javelin, Nicola Olaslagas in the high jump, and Matt Denny in the discus. 4 genuine gold medal chances, and I think 4 other medal chances. The most medals ever in track and field, 12 in Melbourne. Twice we've had 6, but generally we get between 2 and 4. I think we can get a half a dozen.
Has something changed in track and field and the Olympics, or is it just a question of the way the pendulum moves, that a certain number of people go into athletics at a certain time, or has training got better in Australia? I
think training's got better. I think administration's got better, and I think also a lot of our athletes now go to the United States. They do a scholarship, they study in America, and they are training with some of the best athletes in the world. The college system in the United States is becoming a very important place for Australia. That's where Jess Hull went to. It's where most of our top athletes have spent some time, like Mackenzie Little. So I think that's been a big, big plus for Australia.
Did you see the wonderful canoeing at the weekend?
I did. Jess is something out of this box, and that was the perfect storm. I mean, the perfect gold medal, and don't worry, Sarah, I think there's another 1 and maybe 2 coming for her.
And do you have time to also watch the events that are taking, because I keep having to remember that there are events that aren't even taking place in France. We've got surfing in Tahiti, haven't we? So do you stay across all of it?
I try to, and boy, I wouldn't mind being there. I mean, that would be
even
some
better
experience. Exactly.
And so every now and again they add new sports. We've got some new sports this year. Is that the right thing to do, to keep reinventing the Olympics by bringing in new sports? I watched some of the skateboarding last night. There you go, Olympic love. I'm not a skateboarder, but last night I was glued to the skateboarding.
Join the club. I don't skateboard either. I think it's very relevant. They have to stay relevant for this generation. In the old days, they had a tug-of-war, they had an obstacle swimming race. Is breaking any sillier than that? No, it's not. So I think for the International Olympic Committee to maintain its relevance, to keep getting the big dollars from NBC and all the other networks around the world, and to engage with the youngsters, they need to continually fine-tune their program, and that's what they're doing. So I'm supportive.
I mean, obviously we're most interested in the Australians, but who else are you looking forward to seeing in the week ahead?
Simone Biles, because that's some sort of a comeback story.
What a story.
You know, absolutely crestfallen as the #1 gymnast in the world in Tokyo 3 years ago. And there are a couple of people in particular in track and field. There's a sprinter from America called Noah Lyles, who's running in Usain Bolt's footsteps. Hard to do. He's in the 100 and the 200 and the relay. I think he could have a remarkable Olympics. And Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price, so she's a mum, she's in her mid-30s, she's already won 4 Olympic medals in the 100 metres and 8 Olympic medals in total. She's hoping to win the Olympic 100 metres for the 3rd time and win a 5th medal. It's unprecedented. So they're 3 of the athletes I'm looking forward to.
Bruce, I hope you'll come in before the end of it, but thank you very much indeed for getting us off this week to a fine start. Thank you.
A pleasure.